Olivia Vanderbilt walked into Judge Caprio's courtroom wearing a diamond necklace worth more than most people earn in a year, designer heels that clicked against the floor with entitled confidence, and carrying a handbag that had a 3-year waiting list. When she stepped into the courtroom, it was as if the laws were suggestions meant for ordinary people, not people like her. She was the daughter of one of the wealthiest real estate moguls in the country, and she carried herself like someone who had never heard the word no in her entire life. The look on her face seemed to say, "I am untouchable. This is just a formality before I get back to my real life." If you are wondering why this young woman was here, let me explain right now. She had accumulated 17 parking violations in handicapped spaces across Providence, refusing to pay a single fine because she believed her family's charitable donations to the city entitled her to park wherever she pleased. She came to court with that same arrogance. What was going through her mind as she arrived was that she would write one check, mention her father's foundation, and walk out with everything dismissed. She even dared during the hearing to look Judge Caprio right in the eyes and suggest that her family's contributions to Providence should exempt her from minor inconveniences like parking regulations. In fact, her strategies seemed reasonable to her. But what she forgot, what she did not know, was that in Judge Caprio's courtroom, wealth and family name have no power against justice and human decency. The reaction you are about to witness from Judge Caprio is not just a legal ruling, it will be the most devastating lesson on privilege and compassion ever delivered. So, having listened this far, have you not wondered how this will unfold? Now let us get into it. If you have watched this far, I would say do not miss the end of the video. Like the video, lean back and dive into the story, because what you are about to witness will be the collision of bottomless privilege against unshakable principles. Enjoy. It is Wednesday morning at 11:02 a.m. in the Providence Municipal Court. The bailiff announces the City of Providence versus Olivia Marie Vanderbilt. Olivia walks in with the casual confidence of someone who has never faced real consequences. Her attorney, an expensive lawyer in a $1,000 suit, walks beside her. Judge Caprio looks up from his bench with his characteristic warmth and respect. "Good morning, Ms. Vanderbilt." Olivia offers a practiced smile. "Good morning, Your Honor. I appreciate you seeing me today. I know you must be very busy." "Ms. Vanderbilt, you are here regarding 17 parking citations issued over the past 8 months. All 17 were for parking in designated handicapped spaces without proper permits. Is that correct?" "Technically, yes," Olivia responds smoothly, "though I think there is important context we should discuss." Judge Caprio reviews the file. "Ms. Vanderbilt, these violations occurred at various locations throughout Providence, shopping districts, restaurants, medical buildings. Can you explain why you repeatedly parked in handicapped spaces?" Olivia's attorney starts to speak, but she touches his arm, signaling she will handle this herself. "Your Honor, I completely understand that parking regulations exist for a reason, but I think we need to look at the bigger picture here. My family, the Vanderbilt Foundation, has donated over $12 million to Providence charities in the last 5 years. We funded the new children's wing at Rhode Island Hospital, we support 3 homeless shelters, and we provide scholarships to local students." Judge Caprio listens patiently. "Ms. Vanderbilt, your family's charitable work is commendable. However, I am not clear on how that relates to parking in handicapped spaces." "What I am saying, Your Honor, is that my family gives back tremendously to this community. Sometimes when I am running late for foundation meetings or charity events, I park in the most convenient spot available. I am not trying to be disrespectful, but my time is extremely valuable when it is being used to help others." The courtroom is very quiet. Judge Caprio's expression does not change. Ms. Vanderbilt, are you suggesting that your charitable work entitles you to park in spaces designated for people with disabilities? I am suggesting that there should be some flexibility and understanding, Olivia replies. The handicapped spaces are often empty when I use them. No one is being harmed. And the fines I have received, over $8,000 total, could have gone to charity instead of city coffers. So you view these fines as taking money away from charitable causes? In a sense, yes. My family does not keep our wealth, we use it to improve lives. Penalizing us for minor parking infractions seems counterproductive when that money could help people in need. Judge Caprio leans forward. Ms. Vanderbilt, do you know why handicapped parking spaces exist? Olivia looks slightly annoyed by the question. Of course, Your Honor, they are for people with mobility issues. They exist because people with disabilities already face extraordinary challenges navigating a world that is not designed for their needs. Those spaces, often the only accessible parking available, represent dignity and independence for people who struggle with obstacles you and I cannot imagine. I understand that, Your Honor, but as I said, the spaces were empty when I used them. They were empty until someone who needed them arrived and found them occupied by someone who simply found them convenient. Judge Caprio pulls out photographs attached to the citations. Ms. Vanderbilt, I have reports here from 3 separate incidents where individuals with disabilities had to park in regular spaces far from their destinations because you were occupying the handicapped spot. One was an elderly veteran with a prosthetic leg. Another was a mother with a child in a wheelchair. A third was a young man with cerebral palsy. Olivia shifts uncomfortably. Your Honor, I was not aware of those specific situations. That is precisely the problem. You were not aware because you did not consider anyone besides yourself. Olivia's polished demeanor begins to crack. Your Honor, I think you are being unfair. I made mistakes, yes, but I am not a bad person. My family helps thousands of people. Ms. Vanderbilt, helping thousands of people while harming individuals standing right in front of you is not charity. It is performance. The words land like a physical blow. Olivia's attorney tries to intervene. Your Honor, my client is prepared to pay all outstanding fines today. Surely that resolves this matter. Judge Caprio shakes his head. This matter will not be resolved with a check. Ms. Vanderbilt came here believing her family's wealth could erase her actions, but justice does not work that way. Olivia's voice rises. Your Honor, I have admitted I made mistakes. What more do you want from me? I want you to understand what you have actually done. These were not mistakes. Mistakes are accidental. You deliberately and repeatedly parked in handicapped spaces because you believed your time and convenience mattered more than the dignity and access of people with disabilities. That is not fair, Olivia protests. I never thought about it that way. That is exactly the problem, Ms. Vanderbilt. You never thought about it at all. Judge Caprio reviews the file again. For 17 separate violations of handicapped parking regulations, I am imposing the full statutory fines totaling $8,300. Olivia barely reacts. Her family has money. However, I am also suspending your driving privileges for 6 months. Olivia's eyes widen. 6 months? Your Honor, that is excessive for parking violations. Is it? For 6 months, you will experience a fraction of the inconvenience that people with disabilities face every single day. But I need my car. I have obligations, appointments, foundation meetings. Then you will learn to plan ahead, arrange transportation, and navigate the city the way people you displaced had to when you took their parking spaces. Olivia looks genuinely panicked now. Your Honor, please, I have already agreed to pay the fines. Is that not punishment enough? Judge Caprio is not finished. You will also complete 100 hours of community service, specifically working with the Rhode Island Disability Rights Coalition, where you will assist people with disabilities in navigating accessibility issues throughout Providence. Olivia stares in disbelief. Community service, working with disabled people? Your Honor, I am not qualified for that kind of work. You will become qualified. You will spend every Saturday for the next 6 months learning about the challenges faced by people whose parking spaces you treated as your personal convenience. This is humiliating. Olivia's voice cracks. Everyone will know. My family's reputation will be damaged. Ms. Vanderbilt, your family's reputation should be damaged by your behavior, not by the consequences you are receiving. Olivia's attorney speaks up. Your Honor, this seems like an unusually harsh sentence for what amounts to parking violations. Judge Caprio's response is measured but firm. What seems harsh to you is a gentle introduction to accountability. Ms. Vanderbilt has spent her entire life being shielded from consequences by her family's wealth. Today, that shield does not exist in my courtroom. Olivia tries one more time. Your Honor, my father will be extremely disappointed if I cannot fulfill my duties with the Foundation. Our work helps so many people. Then perhaps your father should have been more disappointed when you accumulated 17 parking violations without concern for the people you were harming. The courtroom is absolutely silent. Olivia realizes she has lost. Your Honor, I will do whatever you require. I will pay the fines, surrender my license, and complete the community service. But please understand that I was not trying to hurt anyone. Judge Caprio's expression softens slightly, but his voice remains firm. Ms. Vanderbilt, I do not believe you set out to hurt anyone. I believe you simply never considered that your actions could cause harm, because you have been taught that your comfort and convenience are paramount. That ends today. Olivia nods, tears forming in her eyes. I understand, Your Honor. Do you? Because understanding requires more than compliance. It requires genuine recognition of how your privilege has blinded you to the struggles of others. I think I am starting to understand. Judge Caprio delivers his final statement. Ms. Vanderbilt, your family has donated millions to charitable causes, and that generosity is admirable. But true compassion is not measured in donation amounts. It is measured in how you treat the person standing right in front of you who needs help or dignity or simply the parking space they are legally entitled to use. Olivia cannot speak. The weight of Judge Caprio's words crushes her practiced defenses. You will pay the fines today. You will surrender your driver's license to the court clerk. And you will report to the Disability Rights Coalition this Saturday at 9 a.m. to begin your community service. Is that clear? Yes, Your Honor, Olivia whispers. And Ms. Vanderbilt, one more thing. Yes, Your Honor. I genuinely hope that 6 months from now, when you get your license back, you will be a different person. Not because you fear consequences, but because you have learned to see beyond yourself. As the bailiffs prepare the paperwork, Olivia stands there, stripped of the armor that wealth and privilege provided. For the first time in her life, she faces genuine consequences that money cannot erase. Within days, word of the case spreads throughout Providence. The Vanderbilt Foundation issues a statement supporting Judge Caprio's decision and announcing that Olivia will be taking a leave of absence from her foundation duties to reflect on personal growth and community service. 6 months later, Olivia returns to court for a progress hearing. She walks in differently, without the entitled stride, without the designer armor. Judge Caprio reviews the reports from the Disability Rights Coalition. Ms. Vanderbilt, I have received glowing reports about your work over the past 6 months. The coordinator says you have been punctual, dedicated, and genuinely engaged with the people you have been helping. Olivia speaks quietly. Your Honor, I cannot thank you enough for what you did. At the time, I thought you were being cruel. Now I realize you were being kind in the only way that would actually reach me. What have you learned? That privilege is not just about money. It is about the ability to ignore other people's struggles. And that real charity is not writing checks from a distance. It is showing up, paying attention, and treating every person's dignity as sacred. Judge Caprio nods. Your driving privileges are hereby restored. The court thanks you for your service and hopes you will carry these lessons forward. Olivia leaves the courtroom that day, not as the entitled heiress who walked in 6 months earlier, but as someone who finally understands that being above the law is nothing compared to being among the people. Sometimes the greatest gift wealth can provide is the hard lesson that it cannot buy you out of being human. And sometimes the kindest thing a judge can do is refuse to let privilege be an excuse for indifference. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. If you enjoy stories like this, you can check out the other videos on my channel. See you in the next video. Stay healthy